Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 625. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have Samius Gurobo
Oh, gee golly whiz, hi! I was first.
and
That never
Strimtom.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Recording this episode a little bit later than we normally do. We're doing this on a Monday afternoon. Usually we do it on the weekend, but as is typical of my wife, last show I was like, no, my schedule it's through the holidays it should be kind of more normal, and then like, oh, I'm gonna do a show probably on this day, and then like 30 minutes before I was like, all right, let's get organized and do like we're trying to get a show around in this time and this time slot, and something comes up for that time slot, and then they kind of kept doing that on me a little bit. So here we are on Monday. These guys were kind enough to join me this week. Should be a fun little discussion. Not likely as long and verbose as the last time and then as normal times we have Samius and Strimtom on the show, but we'll do our best. Anyways, this week's screenshot, Damara chooses Aras as a chess opponent in the 493rd screenshot of the week. Hey, he's getting close to 500 with the screenshots of the week there. So, nice little shot of the chessboard and kind of some stuff going on there in the Feywild. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website, DDOCast.com. You can also, let's see, I'm doing this by memory, looking at those things. DDOCast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network. Wait, did I already do this part? This is what happens when you're producing the show, and you get to the point where you can just like do it from memory, and then you're like trying to work ahead and do the things like changing the camera angles and the looks and everything. The next show will probably be next weekend. You can stay updated by following us on social media and DDOcast.com with our calendar. I think I did that already, but we'll just finish the thought. Anyways, on the podcast this week, we're going to take a look at the new festival, the Snowpeaks Festival, which was just released this last week. And there's some other stuff that we'll get to as well in the game news. Let's just jump into the game news part of this. There was some changes to the DDO market, and really kind of basically updating, kind of finishing some of the work that they've been kind of figuring out and doing. So as of today, when this was posted earlier this week, they've updated the DDO market functionality as follows. You will no longer need to redeem a code when making DDO Market purchases. Your purchase will be directly applied to your game account. If you made purchases in the DDO Market before January 11th, which is when this happened, your redemption code is still valid and you should apply it in-game as usual. The current expansion offer is at the top, and older expansion offers appear below that list. There's also a tab for special offers now as well. Although I will say, kind of ergonomic, I wasn't a huge fan of how they did the special offers, new expansions, kind of aspect of it. It's a little weird. They have the DDO market at the top on like their what do you call it, the header menu or whatever, mm-hmm. But special offers isn't in that drop down menu.
Yeah, it's the layout. I think that they probably need to do a little bit of tweaking because it's hidden away just in the corner that it says special offers once you actually get to the page.
Yeah,
and it's not clear because all the like when you scroll down, it just has all the expansion packs like in order, and I feel like they could condense that a little bit and also add like maybe a bigger section for the special offers.
Yeah, it needs some work from a visual user friendly space, I think.
Well, I'll tell you, as a person that worked in that field for a long time, user interface is extremely difficult. So
true.
Got to give them a little bit of slack, I guess. Not too much, but just a little bit.
Hey, just like add the the special offers right into the menu, the menu bar. Like,
You would think that would be your primary call to action.
yeah.
So where it should be placed makes kind of like mathematical sense, but I don't. I actually haven't looked at the page, so because I have all that stuff, right? So, yeah, it's hard though to try to make something like that makes sense and lays out and adjust for the call of action that you're looking forward to, based off of new players, old players, that transitioning stuff.
Yeah. Especially that special offers thing, right? Like that's the thing that really jumps out to me is it's not super easy to find. It's not like hard, right? Like it's up there. It's just everything else on the screen is 30-point font, and that's like 10-point font in a corner.
Yep.
So with this stuff, they also have 2 new offers in the DDO market. Which I will preface by saying that one of these offers is a whole bunch of stuff that's actually not in the market anyway else now, currently. And that's the DDO Expansion Trove, which is found under Expansions. It's $60, $59.99. And this includes the Ravenloft expansion, Shadowfell expansion, Menace of the Underdark expansion, and Epic Destinies. At least in terms of the expansions, that's the only way you can currently get those on the DDO market.
Yep.
That might be the best $60 in DDO though. Like that's a lot of value.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I mean, even if you just think about previously the cheapest Ravenloft bundle was what, $30?
Maybe.
Was it 40?
It was 40.
I think it was 40, and then they had it on sale for a
40.
little bit for half price.
Yeah. I am happy that they're doing like a bundle thing because it makes it more sense for the player, and also this bundle is cheaper than buying the expansions previously a la carte. I am still very firmly under the belief that bundle should probably just literally be part of the subscription. Like if you're subscribed, you probably shouldn't have to buy that, because that content is so old at this point. It's like, especially asking somebody to buy Menace of the Underdark. I know it's a big patch and a big thing, but I'm like, do people need to buy Menace of the Underdark still? But it's better that it's in a bundle now, at least.
I'm with you on Menace of the Underdark and Shadowfell. I think even with Epic Destinies, I'd probably be on board with, hey, if you're VIP, you can have access to Epic Destinies and have that be part of it. I don't know about Ravenloft. Like, I'm okay with Ravenloft still not being part of VIP, but I think I like where you're going. There's also a new version of the DDO Starter Bundle, which is found under special offers at the low price of $9.99. And this is a pretty darn good deal, but so what this includes is the Dragonborn race, Favored Soul class, the Catacombs pack, a Sovereign 1 elixir on each server, just a single one, and then a level 3 Cleric Hireling on each server. That Cleric Hireling is the exact same one that is from the old starter bundle. That old Trolero actually kind of spoke to this. The old starter pack was a different offer. So to get the Dragonborn Favored Soul combo, you would need to buy the new pack, but any perks from the old one won't double up. So if you had the old version with the Cleric Hireling, you should not be getting a second one. Which
I don't think you get a second one. Don't even know if is it a new code, or is it does it piggyback off the same old code? Do you know anybody who's bought it?
I don't know anyone who's bought it.
I'm tempted now. I'm tempted now.
The old pack was Catacombs, the Cleric Hireling, I think like 2,000 points, maybe it was 1,000 points. I think it was 1,000 points.
It was like 250.
Oh, was it 250 points?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was a good deal.
Yeah, it was.
I spent a lot of time hacking the original one. It was something like about a $45 value, depending on where you value Ellery at, which I value her pretty highly.
Sure.
But it was 5 Sovereign Elixir pots and catacombs, and I think it was
There you go.
250 points.
Yeah.
And then you had some
think-
cosmetic junk.
I think
But,
there was a
it was
scorpion.
very, very good. Yeah, there was a
Yeah, there was a
scorpion and I think a spider maybe as well.
And I think it was 30% pots, not
Is that
50%.
where I got those from?
I'm pretty sure they were 50s. I'm pretty sure it was 5 50s.
Yeah, I use them on hardcore every league. It's the best.
It was. It was very, very good.
Does that
It's
mean we're not
one
going
of
to
the
get those now?
I don't know. That's a big question. Like now
Oh,
we're
is this
down
your?
to one.
Is this a question you're actually trying to ask?
Yeah, it is. Like I
Gotcha.
legitimately don't know.
That's a really good question. I would think you would still get the old one, and this is a new one you could also buy.
Well, that's a big question. Like I said, if you can double up on this, and yeah, you don't get double Elleries every time you jump into the hardcore, which is fine. But going to 6 Sovereign Elixirs every time that you have a hardcore or you switch servers or whatever, it could be valuable to you if you don't already have these things. It's
Especially
still
if you don't have Dragonborn and Favored Soul.
correct. It's probably
You're-
still like the best $10 if you just had $10 to spend on DDO. But before it 100% was.
Right.
Now it's probably closer.
Especially when they had the old starter pack on sale for like $2.
I've heard that it was been as low as $1. I wish I
That's
would have
what it was.
known that. I would have grabbed like 1,000 of them. Like I would have grabbed all the codes in the world for people.
I don't think you could actually apply it to more than once, but
Right. You could but it was a code, so you could give them out.
oh, right, yeah.
So now obviously that's gone. But still it's probably still very good. Ellery is a special hireling that people either love or hate, the Gold Seal hireling. And in my opinion, it's worth at least $20 to have a Gold Seal hireling at that
Who
level.
hates Ellery?
There are some
Yeah,
people.
I was gonna say.
There are some people who come into my Twitch stream in particular, and when I pull Ellery out, they get very upset.
Interesting.
Very, very
Oh,
upset.
weird. That's very weird.
I mean, a
Yeah,
free
she's a
level
great
3
hireling.
cleric. I
Mhm.
mean, it's nice at lower levels. It has DVs. Like,
I think they get really mad when I realize that I need additional healing, and the only person I have is Ellery, and I pull her out, and it's like level 28, and I'm just like, God, I got that 29.
oh,
And Ellery like heals me through everything. Like she just does it all. She's literally the best $10 in DDO.
Yeah, I like that pack a lot because it includes Favored Soul, which you can unlock via favor for sure. But it's just one of like the best classes for playing the game. It's got healing built in. You get your casting stat to hit and damage with whatever weapon you decide to use, as long as it's your favorite weapon. It gets a bunch of free health. So if you're like a first life character, you just don't die as fast. It's just a good class.
Yeah, it hits all the buttons, and especially if you're going to be a person that say has always unlocked it with favor in the past, and then you start moving into like playing with the hardcore servers and stuff like that. Now it's available to you without having to grind that extra favor out, which is actually really huge.
Yeah.
Hopefully on your hardcore server characters.
I did not buy Favored Soul until after a hardcore season, and it went on sale, and I was like, buy, because now this is relevant. I need to buy this. Yeah, so it's a new starter bundle. It's still a good buy if you don't have the stuff.
It's definitely targeted specifically for people who haven't been playing, like, or new people.
Yes.
Like it actually is entitled, as opposed to, like me who looks forward to it every hardcore season. Like, I can't wait. Where am I going to put this Ellery?
Also, some other things that Tolero said, or they were talking about, they will continue to bring additional offers and specials to the updated version of the DDO market. I think this is clearly just a starter, especially when we start looking at the expansion trove. Tolero also said they're looking at how they can bring back gifting. Don't have a timetable to announce, but this is a thing on their radar. They'll bring more info when they have more news about it. And the older expansion pack fancy editions, they're working on some new offers that will provide ways for people to get some of the collector and ultimate goodies from the older expansions. That includes even some recombination into different types. Maybe people would like an all Universal Trees bundle or stuff like that. They're still kind of looking into that. I think at the end of the day, I think this was kind of all right. We have the new thing up. Let's get the stuff we need to get in there, like all of the expansions, and so there's at least a way to buy any of the expansions you might not have, and then they're going to kind of come back and kind of tweak and improve the functionality, as it were. So.
Yep.
All right, we also had a patch this week. Update 48 patch 3 was released on Wednesday, January 13th. Of special note, the Snowpeaks Festival has arrived. We'll come back and talk about that in more detail as part of our main thing. There is a guide which we will link to. And then just kind of a quick note, kind of newsworthy notes on this. Keys and the coins, they have to be in your inventory. Even like turning them in from my crafting storage didn't work this morning, which was kind of a bummer. But a minor inconvenience, really. They also keys can't be in your bag. They need to be in your inventory, which is pretty typical of those particular items. So
seems like a weird decision. I feel like they had fixed that in several other things since then, and this seems kind of regressive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to work from your bag.
The keys from like Night Revels have to be in your inventory, but they also don't, I think, fit into a bag.
They don't go into the bag, yeah.
Right. So kind of some give and take there. Also, frozen keys had to be temporarily removed from the DDO store. We will extend the Snowpeaks Festival and will announce a new end date later. I think that was something that was done like Thursday or Friday, and I'm assuming they're taking the holiday that's today, the U.S. holiday that's today.
Yeah, probably.
So that's probably why there was we'll let you know what it's gonna be later. So there's some sort of issue there. Other stuff, miscellaneous. Several sources of effect-related game performance degradation have been identified and corrected. I believe that is most likely related to some of the stuff that Jerry has been talking about recently, about effects stacking multiple times.
Correct. Like multiple instances of the same depreciated thing, like +1 charisma,
but not giving multiple benefits, just gumming up the system.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Possible, but kind of unlikely. That they also mentioned recently that the effects, I think Severlin was talking about in the Q&A, that the effects engine, like the part that holds on to the effects, is being overloaded by the number of effects we now have.
Yeah. It's the same problem. I'm pretty sure they use a similar engine for both Dungeons & Dragons and Lord of the Rings, but the basic gist of it is that the effect system is designed to handle like around 10 effects. And we like bosses, if you just look at them, they'll have like 30 debuffs on them from all different players, and they're going on and off constantly. And so it's just kind of like, the system wasn't designed for it, and I guess they never had time to update it.
The pool was designed to hold this much water, and we're now putting this much more water into it than it can hold.
Yeah, exactly.
And effects that repeatedly go onto you and don't go away like they're supposed to, but just get reapplied. That would, it's like just throwing more buckets of water into the already overflowing pool. So.
Yeah. I haven't noticed a difference after the patch, doing some raids on Saturday, and we had a Vision of Destruction run where the whole thing locked up for almost 5 minutes. But like the whole thing, even the monsters too, so no one died.
Oh, that's abnormal.
Yeah, it was really bad, and it was the whole day.
I would say my experience is probably more or less the same.
I agree.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's the same. That's just what happens.
This one I thought was a little interesting. The Fear spell now has a capped duration of 8 seconds when cast against players. I find kind of interesting, especially since doesn't appear that they changed the enhancements that make it so, your fear now goes away in 12 seconds. Like,
Oh yeah.
That's not so useful anymore.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
what
know
is that?
exactly what's going around fear-based spells and actions, but there's a lot of weirdness going on right now with fear in general. Like for example, Ghoul's Touch is landing on you all the time. It seems like, regardless whether or not you have a fear immunity from like GH or augment slotted. There's a couple other spells that seem to be working through those kind of effects as well. So hopefully this
Interesting.
means that somebody's looking at it and like working through fear in general effects. So I have a lot of hopes for things here.
I kind of wonder if some of this fear change has to do with fear being a very low level spell. And so a fear spell doing, 'cause normally it's like a minute. I mean, you get reoccurring saves, but a minute of crowd control for a level 1 spell by a monster that they can cast in like level 1 to 4 quests.
Well, that's
It's a
the same
little
thing with
much.
like Ghoul Touch, right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just be paralyzed for 10 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever it is, and just get the snot beat out of you.
Is that a
Uh,
fear?
it is. Ghoul Touch is a fear effect.
Okay.
So
I
like
know that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it seems really odd, especially when you like did I get dispelled? And you look up and like, no, I'm still GH'd. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
But I died.
I was gonna say I know that a big deal is because they made a change a while ago that brought back it wasn't there for some reason, but the mummies have a passive fear when you're nearby them,
Yeah.
and then they brought it back. So then all of a sudden, people trying to do Epic Elite Whiz King notice that mummies cause you to be paralyzed if you don't have any will saves. And there's very few in Endgame, but there's one mummy in Search and Rescue level 30 that you need like 100 to resist the fear if you don't have immunity.
Yeah. Greater color spray in the Fade Arc Illusionist enhancement tree now has its proper saving throw. It is
So you
much
know the
less
sad
effective.
trumpet? You know the sad trumpet song? Like when somebody
Yeah.
dies? That's what we should be playing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be playing that right now. That it was obviously it was a mistake, an oversight that worked in the player's favor. There's lots of these that have been working in the monster's favor that are being fixed as well. Something
Fear.
that I've always said, and I feel like is pretty much normal for DDOcast. If something's working in your favor, enjoy it while it lasts. Don't complain when it's gone. But man, this is on this melee that I mentioned off air that I've switched over to a melee ranger build. I really would like to have this greater color split working.
Yeah.
But then gameplay might change online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been playing an alchemist, and I was preparing for this, so the item set I built specifically has all the illusion bonuses, so I haven't noticed a difference, and it's been pretty great.
yeah, I was playing an illusion based caster right before this change. I didn't notice any difference.
Yeah.
So if you build for it, it's fine. But for all those tanks out there who that was their crowd control, rip.
For all the strength-based illusionist casters that were using it, it's not as effective anymore.
Correct.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah, it's not it's still worth having. We were the group that I was in when this change came out. We had a couple, like 2 alchemist casters, including myself, and a sorcerer, all kind of more DPS than DC based. But we were still getting good use out of it in the stuff we were running. It wasn't catching everything like it was before, but between the 3 of us, we were still getting like 50 to 75% of the monsters caught up in it. So it's still really good.
It is still very
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yes.
Spells and abilities that block magic missiles now correctly block chain missiles secondary cast portions as well.
See, that's one of
About
those things that work
time.
in our favor.
About time.
Like, seriously. Reaper boost now lasts their listed duration of 30 seconds, and the Reaper PRR boost is now 10, 20, 30. So those are both kind of nice. Renewal now affects undead and Warforged players.
I cannot tell you how many times I died because I was not susceptible to renewal.
Is it
Which is
actually
why-
working this time? Let's just clarify.
think so, but I haven't been playing an undead lately,
Right.
so not 100% sure. It's part of the reason I'm not playing an undead lately is because this was bugged.
I didn't realize it wasn't affecting Warforged. I knew it wasn't working
Yeah.
on Undead.
I'm playing Warforged right now, and I don't know if it can affect me because I'm unobservant, so I have nothing to add.
Let's just say that this is not the first time we've seen renewal now affects undead players in the release notes before. This has to be at least, what, 3 or 4?
Several times.
Yeah.
Several times.
The enchantment DC displaying details tab no longer looks for transmutation bonuses instead of enchantment bonuses. That's helpful.
Having the correct information is always great.
Daily gold rolls for the recently ended season pass program have now ended. Cue
That's
that
my
trumpet music.
Yeah.
And resistance augments now scale correctly. Hey, on the daily gold rolls, we got what, like a extra week or 3 worth?
It was like 3 extra weeks because they should have done it before the holidays, but
well,
everyone's on
I did
vacation,
go back
so.
and check. It wasn't just 2 years from when you got it. It was through December 31st.
Okay.
So it was supposed to go through at least December 31st. January 1st, not surprised it was still on. January 2nd, not surprised it was still on. January 8th was starting to get to the point of, should I mention something to them? Like, should I submit a bug report? I don't think this is intended behavior, but click, 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 kind of nice.
Good behavior.
I know. I always feel like report and then do what you need to do.
I kind of figured they knew. Also, it has been reported in the chat. I think that's Wilburster. Is the renewal is now working? So that's fantastic news.
Yeah, it's so good.
It was never a problem for me that I couldn't heal the undead. It was more the problem that, when you get to that point, you're just like clicking through the name, like click, heal, click, heal, click, heal, click. Like you're just going through and cycling so fast. You don't even have time to process the fact that you just threw a renewal at an undead player and it's not going to help them. Then you end up having to go back and get them again. Yeah, that was the problem for me. All right, there you go. That's the patch notes. Bonus days. These are already over. But so you know what they were and can plan ahead. We had plus 5% Reaper XP, as well as a plus 5% VIP boost this weekend. Always nice stuff. Always really nice of SSG to give me a VIP boost when I'm about to use a stone.
Yeah, that is nice of them.
Right?
That's really great, actually.
The store sales through January 21st, you can get 25% off of Tomes of Learning, select low-level adventure packs, and +2 ability tomes, and character slots. That's the Advance Your Alt sale. And the coupon code is an elixir of frosty luck, the coupon code being Snowy Luck. I believe that's the thing you drink, and then you can get coins out of... You have a better chance of getting coins out of normal chests.
Yeah, it's just 5% chance. I'll put a quick PS out there because I tried it earlier today in to report for this right here. I'm about 80% positive that I had more than 45 minutes left on my potion, and I took a death earlier today, and it was gone. So it may be messed up where I'm not going to buy more to test it, but I believe that it is falling off upon death. So be a little bit leery of that, I guess.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
That would be bad.
Generally not be the behavior that they go for with those potions.
No, which is why I was very surprised, because I died and I rezzed up and I hit like 3 chests, and I was mentally counting, because I figure 5%, right? That means 1 out of every probably 7 or 8 chests you should get some. And I hadn't got any for a while, and I checked again, and I was like, oh wait, where'd my bonus go? And it's gone. So that's...
Maybe
just again, be a little on the leery side.
Maybe because I don't think I really care. I'll put in that code and then go die and see if it falls off.
Sounds good. I was literally only doing research for this show.
By the way, that coupon code I believe did change. Like I think maybe they put out the wrong code or they had to change it or something. So if you caught that code, whatever the code was, and you weren't paying attention to what we were saying, what the code was here, I believe it changed. So if you went to it like really early when you first saw the code out, it might not have worked correctly. The coupon code is Snowy Luck, SNOWY Luck. So.
It may be cap sensitive too. It is in all caps.
Is that thing
They've
even
had-
cap
No,
sensitive?
I've never
They've
seen
had
it be
some
case
codes.
sensitive.
They've had some codes that are case sensitive, and the fact that this one's all caps makes me think that it might be.
Oh,
I think
I
think that used to be a thing, and I think it stopped being a thing.
It could be. I don't know. I literally copy and pasted just to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you say that, you bring that up, and we started talking about it. I think probably a couple years ago now, at this point, that they used to have codes that were case sensitive, and you remember, and that was when like they couldn't do the custom codes. It was just like it would just spit out this random series of string of letters and numbers.
Yep.
I think those are case sensitive, but
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'd err on the side of caution.
Yep. That'll bring us to community news and the 409th DDO Chronicle. The DDO character planner has been updated, so you get list of changes for more. Is this Ron's character planner? It doesn't actually say which
I don't actually know.
character planner it is. And
This Matrum's character planner.
which one?
Matrum's planner.
Okay. Because I think there's more than one planner at this point.
There's more than one planner, but the most up to date one is Matrum's planner. Some of the other ones are a little bit behind.
Wilburster is saying the original code for this the snowy potion or elixir had a letter sequence that you couldn't use in game due to the filter.
Well played out as
That's
always.
very funny.
Yeah, I've run into that filter before. There was a very unfortunate string of letters that YouTube decided to assign randomly to one of my videos. That was censored by the DDO forums, which meant I couldn't embed the video into the forums. Anyways, Eva266 has updated their leveling equipment guide, so you can read about that on the forums as well. So some great tools there if you're one of those people who likes to kind of build your characters in what I like to call paper space. So the nice tools there. The guild for the week, Legends of Undermountain, a long-running guild on Serlona that is refreshing its membership and looking for new and veteran players. The guild has their own Discord and more. The comment for the week, following the great cookie debate, the Coin Lords determined that blank is the best cookie of all time.
The one in front of you. Next.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Oreo cookie. That one's got my vote. We don't have in game yet, but I'm waiting for the crossover.
I mean, if we're talking about real world cookies, the best cookie is clearly Samoa's.
That's a very good cookie.
You guys are both incorrect. It is the cookie in front of you.
Fansite news. We got a shout out for our review of 2020. Thanks again to Samius and Axel for sticking around for the. That was very much the classic. I think this is going to take about 2 hours. 4 hours later, Samius is like, wimps, we're can't do 4 hours of streaming.
Look, some of us have to do this for a living, and that's what we do.
DDO Players News has a word with Vecna, so you can listen to their latest podcast. DDO Stream is your first stop to find DDO on Twitch. This week, Rider Days persists. DDO PL gets back on track, and Brock and Friends plan for a less weird year. Less weird year sounds great, right? Like, y'all agree with that?
It's very wishful thinking.
Yeah,
It is very wishful thinking.
it's getting there. Also on Twitch, RPG Amy has a DDO night. Samius Gurobo has 2 weapons.
That's me.
It is. 6 Sides of Gaming runs Temple of Elemental Evil Part 2. It can be a fun experience if you haven't really been in there. It's not a place that I go to very frequently because it's, especially if you want to go everywhere, it's long.
It is a long dungeon.
I will say I have still not completed it.
Really?
Oh,
Really?
it's very fun. I recommend it.
Not even on
Well,
hardcore?
not even on hardcore.
I guess
The
part
final
2
boss
on
is
hardcore.
really sketchy on hardcore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's fair.
I was in the process of doing some TRing when it came out, and my guild did it, and then they decided they were done with it, and I've just never managed to find a group to do another one.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Like I can't get it.
It's worth the experience to go in there at least once. I enjoyed the experience. I think it's also very understandable why people don't tend to go back there frequently.
Yeah.
It's long and it's full of find the little tiny thing in this really big area.
Yeah, and a lot of very sometimes frustrating and sometimes very surprisingly powerful monsters.
Yeah. It can be a thing.
Yeah, if you want to do the whole thing, pack a lunch.
Use the restroom first too.
Yeah.
Over on YouTube, Silverhilt has some thoughts while watching a build video from Strimtom. Hey, look, it's a video about one of your videos.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm not even kidding. I mentioned this earlier that I'm currently doing one of Strimtom's builds right now, which in fact is what they linked to in the Chronicle. I'm going to review the build when I'm done with it.
Hey.
So far, I'm having a blast. So I am going to start doing that for the different builds that I get from other people as I run through these iconic lives.
And that build is?
Right now, I'm doing Strimtom's tried and tested hardcore viable ranger for all your hardcore needs. Over on the forums. Also, I believe Strimtom at YouTube.
Yep, and Twitch and
Definitely
everywhere
check
else. But yeah,
Whoa,
great
let's
build.
not
Highly
get carried
recommend.
away. Let's not necessarily pipe your Twitch just yet, good sir. We're talking about your YouTube channel.
It looks like Warhawk in the chat, in our Twitch chat, was hoping it was the Sunflask build.
I mean, I don't know yet. Well, I take my builds based off of voting. So if you really like to punish me when it comes around to TR day, know where to be.
I think though there's probably going to need to be a standing rule that if you suggest to Samus that he does the Sunflask build, you must give him at least 200 Sunflasks.
Try 20,000.
Oh.
Monsters have a lot of health while you're leveling.
Let's see. Axel discovers the most and least popular races to play in DDO. Sage of Galanda gets old school melee with an R3 Vision of Destruction. I'm assuming that's the heroic version. And Mickey chronicles her 207th week of raiding in her blog, Mickey's Delirium. Let's see. Talking Shop. Cordovan checked out the Snowpeaks Festival, answers questions on the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream from last week as well. Let's see. Don't forget to check out D&D Night on DDO stream on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern for tabletop gaming on twitch.tv/DDO stream. This next week is, I think, Heroes of Battle Rise, which is one of the ones I play in. You can find me there most weeks. I think week 3 and 5 of a month are the only weeks I'm not on there at this point. But you can check out some fun stuff there and find it on YouTube as well. DDOCast Splat will be returning this week on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. You can check us out, twitch.tv/DDOCast. Or again, you can find us on DDOCast.com and our YouTube page. You can also find Oracle of War, which is the D&D night that I am the DM for at DDOCast.com and on our YouTube page as well. I kind of wanted to put that in places where if you listen to the show and want to see me DMing, you can do that. Check in for 5 minutes or stay for the whole 3 hours. It's up to you. But it's been a lot of fun. Right, I think that means we get to talk about the Snowpeaks Festival. So this is the brand new festival that they put out. It is replacing the Risia Ice Games Midwinter Festival, which is and when I say replacing, it's taking the scheduled slot of. We may still see the Risia Ice Festival and Midwinter Festival in the future, just not as quote the regular scheduled programming that we're kind of used to. So that's kind of what's going on there. And if you're watching live, you can see Samus's new puppy, I think.
Yes, this is correct. This is the new puppy. This is why I need everyone to come to my Twitch stream and help us out.
You can
'Cause
see.
she is an expensive, very pretty girl.
So that's
you.
kind of what the Snowpeaks Festival is. I think just from a mechanic standpoint, if you're kind of wondering what this festival is, maybe you haven't really been paying attention or you haven't been in the game a little bit. There is a guide, which again we'll link to in the show notes. The basics is some of the champions are now these Snowpeaks champions. They're specialized champions, and when you kill them, you get a chest, and that chest will have some coins in it. There's 3 flavors. This should be pretty pretty used to this part, right? Like there's a bronze, silver, gold, 3 tiers of coins. That's pretty standard with the festivals these days. And then you turn them in, you get goodies. You also can get keys, but the keys, if the champion is an orange name, I think you always get a key from the chest.
You always get a key.
Yep. And if they're not a champion, you might get a key. And then on top of that, coins can end up in normal chests. I haven't seen a key happen in a normal chest.
Me either.
But I think it's just coins can rarely drop as normal chests. It's not super common.
I know that I pulled them from non-Snow Reaper chests. Right. I know I pulled the keys from there.
Oh, you didn't get keys from that.
Okay. I know that I pulled a key from that. A non-champion, a champion, but a non-snow chest.
Right. The snow chests are also purple and snowy flavored. Like they're distinctive.
So are the champions. The champions are made of ice, so you can't miss them.
So that's kind of the functionality. So just kind of like generally, what do you guys think about the festival?
Well, for me personally, I think it's great. I love not having to do things. I hate having to do stuff when they're like, oh, there's this festival, like the Night Revels, where you got to go into this dungeon and you got to farm these monsters that don't hurt you. And then you do that for keys. And then you got to run these other dungeons. And then you get this resource. This time it's play the regular video game. The regular video game is enhanced somehow. So you get these cool champions that spawn and it changes up the gameplay and they're visually distinct, which is kind of neat. So there's a festival going on. And then using the keys is very short. And I've just been enjoying running the little slide event because it's been good.
See, and I love everything that you said except for the slide event. I feel like it's nice, like the first 1 through 10 times that you do it.
Sure.
But it doesn't. There's not enough variety. The stuff tends, at least for me, tends to spawn behind me about half of the time.
Oh, really? That's
yeah
annoying.
Oh, that's weird. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it until Talab and I decided to try it together, like going to the same instance together. And one of us would go first, and the other one would wait about 15 seconds and then start. And like you would see all sorts of stuff that the first person missed because it just spawned behind them. So yeah, it does seem to be a problem. I would recommend that tactic if you would like to clean up as much stuff as possible. Take 2 people with you. So when we switched over to, like, before I was doing that, I was getting probably 4 keys a run, or gold coins a run, give or take, on average. When we switched to doing them together in pair, I think we realized that we were moving up to like 6 or sometimes even 7 on average. So I feel like I was missing several gold coins because they just spawned behind you or whatever.
I wonder if that's a function of having another person. I've only done the snow slide as solo, and now I'm kind of tempted to take someone in there that can detour back to the beginning and see if... I guess I could just jump off.
You just jump off, yeah. It takes you back up.
Jump off.
Well, I have fallen off and not had more.
I don't know. It could just be the latency or whatever. Again, I literally did the test on the stream before we started this show, and that's all I can tell you. Those are my impressions of the skating.
Yeah, my average was 8 coins over like 15 keys per run.
Yeah, mine way less than that.
Yeah, well, let's come back to the snow slide itself, and talk more in detail about that. But I really agree. I agree with what you guys have been saying, that it's really nice to you just do stuff normally, right? And you run
Mhm.
into it. That's really nice. Uh, I give Night Revels kind of a pass on that, just because it's you get a lot of XP from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
becomes its thing. It
yeah,
becomes everything. Where we have an event that's like that takes over the game for a month.
hmm
It's nice that this is something that is an addition to, but yet modifies things and special. I like the idea. I hope they continue to run with this idea of using the champs to produce a thing that takes you to another area, etc.
and
It
Yeah.
feels really good.
I like how they kind of revamped it, and you can see how it's very like the snow slide is similar to the Rishi Ice games, but better and less. It's less Mario skills based and more kind of just it's easier and fun. I've talked to a few people that really hated the Rishi Ice games because it was because of the slides and stuff. They really didn't like doing those, and this one
Mhm.
they really like because it's in large part because it's not that. It's not aggravating, and
Well,
if
then,
you have a moment of lag, you don't fall off the course and in a
yeah,
really
the
negative
new
way.
thing though is always going to be nicer, right? Like not always, but when you're tired of something and it changes, you're going to like it. I'm curious what these same people are going to feel like in a month of messing with this.
Well,
You know,
I can give you kind of some of my own experience, because I never really liked the Risha Ice Game Midwinter Festival snow slidey thing, put your ice skate on things. Um I found like I could do them okay, but you get that little bit of twitch lag, and you fall off the course, and you have to start over, and you don't get that coin that's at the end that you wanted for. Or um more than once I would navigate the course, and right as I'm about to get the coin, someone would use other means of getting the coin and getting to that spot and take the coin. um so
yeah, that was aggravating that was not 100% uh, individually based.
yeah,
Like the fact that you
Yeah.
could compete with other people in the zone was very aggravating. That's certainly a distraction that they fixed in this method.
the things I like about this and the snow slide here is it's not those things. Uh, it's perfectly easy to do. You get a bunch of coins. I think maybe if you know this is something that I'm only just kind of coming up with, but as we're having this conversation, I think that it would have been pretty neat if maybe there was a divergent path that you could go that maybe had some jumps in it, that maybe had a couple guaranteed gold coins if you went that direction or something like that. Like a bonus for a skills. Like if you can manage those skills, you might get a little bit better. Not a lot, but a little bit better. Like I could go for that, right? Like that would um I think be kind of fit that and scratch that itch a little nicer.
Yeah. I
Um
think that Jerry mentioned that on stream that this was kind of like, they're just bringing it out to show off what the new festival is going to be, because we had, Reese Ice games and stuff. We had the full event. So usually stuff would be over by this point. Um so if this is just a showcase for what they're going to keep doing, I would love to see, this year we have the slide and next year we got the whole Winter Olympics going on, you know what I mean? Where there's like a slide and a jump
Interesting.
and a few other events that people can participate in. Because like the fact that the rewards are even the same, I have I have a sneaky suspicion that they'll
Get there.
probably, just like with Night Revels, add in more stuff.
Oh,
Almost
interesting.
entirely the same.
The
Almost
Yeah,
rewards.
there's now
entirely.
you can get those the festival clothing instead of having to go to um the glamour dust vendor, which is cool for people.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that the festival resistance that you were able to get before is now gone apparently.
Right. That's
So
I haven't seen that.
all that wonderful ice skating that I did for the Midwinter Festival to like get all my cosmetics done, value. So I would like to see that back in some way.
Yeah, that there's some space there. I think we talk about rewards. I will say, kind of going back a little bit to you were talking about Samus, the new thing, and what are you gonna feel like running? I ran the snow slide for probably a couple hours. Just that was all I was doing in DDO, and the first like 3 times, yeah, it was kind of fun. About run 10, and I'm like, all right, I've got this kind of optimized, and just kind of boom, 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 boom. Around like run 20, it was like I'm not going out of my way for that bronze coin. And it's a little. I don't think this is the intended behavior is to run it a lot in sequence. And I'll talk a little bit more about some of why that experience may be coloring some people's opinions of the festival. But that snow slide is. I almost kind of wonder. Maybe it's a little too easy and mind numbing, right? Like if you're just running it a bunch in a row. Now, having said that, I was also kind of doing that in this space where I had 30 minutes before someone had an online Zoom birthday party, and I was kind of doing the snow slide while I was, watching some football and kind of hanging out with some other people, and it was in those moments it was actually kind of nice because like I didn't really have to pay a lot of attention to what I was doing, but it as someone who tends to focus a little better if my mind is like really being more occupied and like when I was studying in school, like if I had music on, I was a lot better at studying because my mind would wander less. It kind of was scratching that for me a little bit. So
yeah, it's kind of the running explorers of festivals, right? Like you can check mentally out like 90% and just kind of do other things. I think it's probably good for that, but it certainly is something that once you kind of figure out the ins and outs and the rules of, there's no mental engagement after that.
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. I feel like the intention was, you run some quests, you get some keys, you go run your keys, then you go back to running quests. Like it's a flip flop.
Yeah.
Like you do a little bit of both, and not just straight do key like 10
do
or
the
15
thing for 3 hours. Yeah.
But I think that's also problematic because that's a lot of times how a lot of people play, especially people that play a lot. They, you run Ravenloft, and then you run Sharn, and then you run Feywild, and then you do this. Now we're going to take a break. So now from doing that, you have like 30 keys, and then you go run 30 keys in a row because you don't want to lose the nice group that you've had. So you come at it. I can see it from both angles. I haven't really gotten tired of it, mostly because I've just been doing goofy stuff every time. Like I've been trying to do emotes while sliding down, trying to figure out which emotes work and make it all the way to the bottom while getting the things. I'm trying to figure out how to go down backwards, but your momentum pushes you forward. So I'm still working on that one. I've been finding fun ways to make it more exciting every time. It's more time consuming, but
yeah, I think getting it, like having it be something that the place where I think for me, and I think a lot of people you might find better use and enjoyment and less of that boredom part of it if it's that, oh, I'm gonna log off and like I only have 10 minutes left to play, and then I'm gonna log off. And instead of just like logging off 10 minutes early, you can go run it for a couple minutes, right? You can go do a couple runs, or hey, I'm guessing most of us aren't going to football playoff parties, and you want to be watching. You can watch football, and do this at the same time, right? Like there's some ways you can kind of that worked really well for me to kind of maximize that enjoyment. Warhawk EDs in the chat is also saying that he thinks they missed a chance of adding different difficulties with higher coin drops. The more challenged you go, just making the items more expensive. I don't know if the cost of some of the gold stuff is like the cosmetics and stuff. The cost there seems fine to me.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some of the other stuff, other cost stuff. But yeah, I think like this is we didn't really say this explicitly. The snow slide is a challenge. It's a level 1 only challenge. It doesn't have other levels. I think if it was me, what I'd really like to see, as this comes back year to year, I think it'd be really cool if they added different quote levels to the snow slide, and a higher level maybe was more challenging, but maybe had a higher chance of getting gold or something like that. And then you can do some interesting things there, having different courses of different levels of difficulty and slightly better rewards. To kind of change it up a little bit. Maybe I want to do a 1 this time, the 1 course this time, the 2 course next time. I think there's some possibilities there that are interesting.
Well, like
Yeah,
all
for sure.
things SSG, the potential is there,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just a matter of is it going to get developed and improved upon in a way that makes sense, other than like just making new items for it or a different cosmetic or something. I hope that they take the initiative and the outreach, because it seems to me that generally most people like the core idea of carrying on like normal, and then you go do this other thing.
Yeah.
They just need to now make this other thing better, which just seems, again, like that seems to be the consensus. So run with it, and then use this as your example to flesh out other festivals throughout the rest of the season. I like this idea. Using the champion to develop the champion system to have mechanics in place is great.
You could do some interesting things too with what would the Mimic Festival look like if the Mimics occasionally dropped a key and there was the special thing you went and did from the Mimic Festival, kind of along the same idea.
Like a treasure dimension with 10 treasure chests, but you can only open like 2.
I don't know. But just kind of picking it back off what Samius is saying and kind of that stuff there. Like there's some interesting things there. I like, even if they don't change it though, like I'm okay with this festival. I like it a lot better than I like the Midwinter Festival or Reset Ice Games.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing that I don't know if I like about it is I felt like I could make myself a window where I wanted to do one of those events, right? So like I could. This year was the last year for the midwinter, and it's the first year since the very first year that I felt motivated to go do something about it.
mm-hmm.
So I went and I gathered up my materials every day, right, until I had several, and then I went and I spent an hour doing that. And was it always the most mentally engaging hour? No, but I felt like it was trying to maximize things, trying to figure out what kind of zones to like get certain things that you needed. Like if you needed a tier 10 resistance, or you needed a tier 1, like there was some chase involved, something that kept you engaged and interested. Where this, I feel like, is a mental checkout at the moment. And like you already mentioned, that oftentimes you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're in that good group, you stack up a bunch of things, you end up with like 75 keys, and now can you take another hour to mental checkout to get all these keys? No, you're going to end up having stuff move from season to season, and it's part of that has to do with the fact that there is not enough mental engagement. Mm-hmm. So you do have to find other ways to keep that high, or you're just not going to spend that much time doing it.
Path of Inspiration in the chat suggests adding Reapers and Ravens to the slides.
Just add Reapers to everything. It makes everything better.
I'm not sure that would make it challenge. It would make it more challenging and more engaging. I'm not sure that makes it better.
Anything that is engaging is better.
Sure.
More engagement.
I want to talk a little bit about the rewards. What do you guys think about the rewards, price structure, any of that stuff?
I mean, actually, this is what the thing that I think is the most important is, so if you have a lot of these keys, there are tons of people who are very willing to buy them for shards or platinum, because anybody can run them, and the coins are unbound, and so are the keys. So people are trading these things a lot. So I don't think anything is too expensive or cost prohibitive. In fact, the only thing that's expensive are specifically the little pets, like the cosmetic stuff. But all of the effective things, like the potions that can help you, or the new festival augments, which are just super cool, those things are not that expensive and take very little time to get. Like you can do 3 runs and you can get your festival augment. So I really like the new reward structure, and I think they have it done in a good way.
Yeah, I think that the rate of time for the average return is probably pretty close. Like Strimtom said, it seems like 3 or 4 runs, and you'll have enough to pick up like a gym if that's what you're after, or something. I apologize, I just got both dogs dumped on me. But yeah, it's one of those things where hopefully you're gonna not want that much stuff because of the mental taxation. It's just not there, or engagement. So if you want a couple of things, and again you're willing to take like 10 minutes at the end of every night to run something to get one thing, then it makes a lot of sense that that's how it works.
Yeah, I think I really like that they have you kind of alluded to the augments, the festival augment for charisma and dexterity. That's great. I'm on board with there not being a constitution one, but I'd like to see a strength one from somewhere now. Maybe the Mimic Festival or something. Like Con, I think might be a little. I'm not sure I want Festival of Constitution in the game, but I'd like if we're gonna do all the other ones, like I feel like we need to get strength in there too now.
Absolutely.
Especially because I feel like in today's build environment, strength is not the majority anymore, right? Like people are not using strength to hit and damage as their primary stat more than the rest of the stats combined.
Yep.
So I feel like strength. There's a place to add strength. Con, I'm totally on board with not having that, but I like to see strength. The price structure, some of the I like the rewards. I'm not sure I'm totally on board with some of the weird things about it though. Like there's only one thing to do with the bronze coins, and that's to turn them into cookies, which is a good use of the coins. Like I don't want them to take the cookies away, but I'd kind of like to see something else to do with the bronze coins.
Yeah.
Even like, just to throw like a possible suggestion out there, like maybe instead of just getting a random cookie for 10 coins, maybe I can get a specific cookie for 50 bronze coins or something like that.
That's a great idea.
Or, there's some of the silver rewards are the icy resist potions and stuff. Maybe I could turn in 100 bronze coins for those instead of 10 silvers or something. I don't know. Just like there's only one line in the reward box for bronze coins. There needs to be something else. I have so many bronze coins. I need, relative to the other ones, I need something. Now, granted, cookies, good use of it. I'd like to see something else there. And the second one that really struck me as odd is a candy cane is only 1 silver? Which, to me...
that sounds right.
Okay, but the part about it, it's not that it costs 1 silver. It's that I can get a candy cane, which is like 30 cure moderate wounds potions for 1 silver, and I can get a protection of energy fire potion for 10 silver? Like...
It's a matter of time, though. Like, you're... Again, like using the candy cane takes like 10 seconds in activation.
Sure.
So it costs a lot more of investment to get that healing out of it, for example. They're really good for like new low level stuff like that. Like I would love to see hardcore servers start off with this festival or something. Like it would make a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Where
a Snowpeaks festival hardcore season could work pretty well, actually.
Yeah, they could have a whole hardcore season based around the Snowpeaks.
Yeah.
I actually think that it makes sense, and I'm with Samius because
okay,
if you're in combat, then the candy canes might not help you as much. But if it's before combat, you can drink this potion, and that's going to help you tremendously.
I thought it was weird that one was worth 1 silver and everything else was worth 10.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
it's not overpowered. So I don't really care.
Sure. I felt like the point, the structure and the time investment part, I think is fine, right? Like it's 100 coins to get the 100 gold coins to get the pets. Seems fine. It's 50 for the cosmetics. Seems fine. I think maybe the only other thing I'd say, on the festival is, I wish they would have put it on Lamania first for realsies, not by accident. And only like half there. I think they would have addressed some of the issues with the release along the lines of, let's just say that if you give players a new thing, we're really good at figuring out how to optimize it. And in some cases, kind of break the accumulation rate.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been nice if it was on Lemania or something, or they'd done more testing, for sure. But like for me, it already feels better than the first festival, like that one, the
Yes.
one we had before. So I'm
Yes.
already happy. So I'm kind of like a wait and see. If next year it's the same thing, I'll be disappointed. But if they make any improvements from now to next year, I'll be a happy camper.
That's fair. Actually, there's it's a kind of I think a good example of there were parts of the number system that players broke, and there's a lot more keys and coins and stuff in circulation than I think was intended. I mean, we're what, 5-6 days into the event, and I think there's more coins and keys in circulation than were probably intended, or that definitely than were intended.
Well, that to me turns into more of a disconnect between the devs and the player base. Like, to me, that's a weakness in that regard, as opposed to actual what happened. Because we've had situations where we felt like farming champs before. And so it's the same math basically for the equation of farming champs. So I feel like this was a known issue. Maybe not to the degree, because it's not a limited time event, but this was known, like all the examples. So
Sure.
it's a matter of short-sightedness, I think, by the devs in this regard. If it was in fact that we're over the estimations, and I don't know, I haven't read anything that said that they say that, other than they've closed some stuff down.
Yeah, my recommendation to anyone watching: if you find out that there is some method in which you can acquire really, really, really high quantity keys in a very short period of time, just be mindful about practicing that thing.
Yeah.
Because you never know if you might do this and think it's super cool and then find out you got banned because of something like this. So just keep that in mind. Not saying that will happen or they would act on that, but different game companies and games I've played have banned people for less. So, and it could possibly be happen. So just keep that in mind.
You may also notice that we're being somewhat coy about the methodology for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because we like this game. We don't want to get banned.
I don't get banned.
Yeah, let's keep playing. But so I think there was. It's unfortunate that, and I feel like if they'd have tested this, maybe they could have caught some of those issues, and there wouldn't be a gluttony. Now, having said that, I'm sure there would still be a lot more keys and coins in circulation than they expected, because the willingness of the player base to subject themselves to mind-numbingly repetitive behavior to meet the goal is a thing. And
yep.
I think it's kind of was mentioned in the chat here too. Like, look, with these festivals, especially if the stuff's not bound to character or bound to account, people will go farm the living daylights out of it and then go put it on the auction houses and get a coin for it, which is fine. I mean,
not just fine. It makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people out there who have more time than money.
Yep.
I raise my hand. And there's a lot of people out there who deserve to be able to monetize that effort.
Yep.
At least in game currency. So, I mean, it sounds like that's something that I actually appreciate about these kind of events, like the Maybar keys, these keys, etc. I like that kind of mechanic.
I kind of wish there was actually more of that, right? Like the new named items are all like bound to account and have been for years now, and it kind of becomes okay, so I have shards, I can spend them on rerolls, I can go to the auction house that really doesn't have a lot there to buy shards with, generally speaking,
because everything is named bound to account.
Yeah, all the stuff that I would be more inclined to go there to buy with shards is bound to account, and you can't put it there. So
correct.
Yeah, and sometimes some of the things you want to buy with shards because they show up there for some reason backfire. Another thing I don't want to talk about. So
yeah, and then occasionally someone puts an Autos box on there for 200 shards, and you're like, sure.
Sweet typo.
Yep. Anyways,
but then you open up that Autos box and there's nothing inside of it.
Oh, really?
So you have to be careful about that.
I have not heard that as being a thing.
It's a thing.
Anyways, anything else you guys want to talk about the festival?
Not in particular. I think it's the bones are very, very solid, and I'd like to see not just a more tweaking for the winter festival, the Snowpeak festival. I'd like to see this become the bones for like a summer festival, maybe even a fall festival, a spring festival. I think it's just really good bones and a concept that can be fleshed out. I hope they continue to work on it and adapt it for not just the Snowpeaks, but other things as well.
Don't change Night Revels, though. I like Night Revels. I like most of Night Revels. Yeah, I think my closing thoughts are this is fundamentally margins of magnitude better than what it was before. I'm very happy that that's true. And we talked about some things that would be kind of interesting to take it going forward, whether it's like Sam was saying, like expand this to other festivals and concepts. I think I like the idea of a mimic, not a snow slide, but hey, go do this thing with mimic hunt. That would be pretty cool. One thing I was gonna say too, like I don't really understand why ice skates aren't a thing in this festival.
If I had to guess, yes, it's mostly that, like, since it's just like, as far as we know, we have one event, so it would be kind of annoying if you can't do that event until you go and farm out something else. Like, that goes against the idea. Like, you have to, because you used to have to talk to the guy, and you can only get the ice skates once a day, or you have to buy them from the store. So I like not having to buy stuff from the store to do the event.
But like 30 bronze coins for a set of ice skates?
Oh yeah, if they had them for the coins, that'd be fine.
That's what I would assume. I mean, that's how it seems to work for like a lot of the minibar stuff.
I don't know. I was just kind of one of those things. I was like, why aren't the ice skates part of this?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I may be carrying around my ice skates that I bought with the original ice thing, like for $5 back a million years ago, just now only to use in White Plume Mountain. So
those work in White Plume Mountain?
They definitely speed you up on the skate in White Plume Mountain. I don't know if it's for a good thing or a bad thing yet. I'm still experimenting, trying to learn myself. So, but yes, they do have an effect in White Plume Mountain. So it seems to be the only place left, as near as I can tell. And I feel a little bit disappointed that this was a special thing. Like, you take your boots off, you put on your ice skates, you get a worthwhile event or a change. I would like to see that, whether it speeds you up, gives you a little bit more control, lets you go backwards some. It would have been nice to have some sort of effect for taking the time to switch those things around.
I want to throw out two things that coming in the chat, kind of related to what we're talking about. Jack B says, well, mechanically, it's just downhill. Ice skate should have no effect. Skis. We could have skis.
So that's what I'm saying. We need the Winter Olympics. We need ski jump. We need everything. Slalom.
Crexus Pendragon also says, it points out the Easter event, which is the Festival of the Traveler is, I believe, the official name, would be a place. Yeah, I agree. That's that's a great place to take this formula and kind of expand onto something that already exists and make it better. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for DDOCast today. As promised, we went longer than my expected time of an hour. Well done. Samus, why don't you plug
Come
your
on,
stuff?
not that much over. Twitch.tv, YouTube.com, Twitter.com, etc. Facebook, every place is at Samius Gurobo. Check me out. I do a lunchtime stream Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday is DDO, and then every evening, Monday through Thursday, I do a DDO stream. Cover the evening stream starting around 6 o'clock Central Time until about 2 o'clock a.m. So when you're done watching Strimtoms on Mondays and Wednesdays, send them my way because I could use the assistance. Also, new doggy.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say also a new doggy to get to enjoy and play with on the stream as well.
Yeah, so I'm Strimtom. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Strimtom or youtube.com/Strimtom or on Twitter, or just type in Strimtom, it'll come up. I posted a new YouTube video during the podcast because I'm great at not splitting the audience, and I'm there pretty much every day, usually for 10 or 12 hours or so, Monday to Saturday, plus the YouTube videos and stuff. So if you want to get some of this, just tune in or don't.
I believe if you want to get less of that as well, you can spend bits or whatever and put graphics on his face to kind of mask that a little bit.
Yeah, you can put graphics, or there's a co-host I have named Brian who shows up from time to time who just takes over.
Well, thanks for joining me today, guys, and thanks for listening to the show, and thanks to all the contributors for DDOCast, and to Standing Stone Games and Wizards of the Coast for making DDO happen, and to Cyberage for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website at DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage or you Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. And you can hit us up at ddocast.com for our show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. If you have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, you can leave a comment or you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. And of course, you can find these guys on Twitter as well, and all those fun places that they already mentioned. So, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.